We bought the building on Murphy Avenue from the Sunnyvale Bakery, and that's where he stayed until he retired. And he had a lot of friends that would come to see him. Even the policeman from the Sunnyvale department used to go over there for coffee and donuts. So he knew everybody. But there was a big change, and my husband was very sad when they knocked down all the buildings. And what really was sad was the City Hall. It was such a beautiful building. It was white stucco with red tile, with a clock in the front and a tower. It was so pretty.
How do you pass down a memory when that place is no longer there? Especially when your city changes so quickly.
Something happened that was very rare in Sunnyvale. We had a cyclone, and I think it was in '51, but I'm not sure. And it took part of, it went through Westinghouse, and my brother's garage, the doors were taken by the cyclone. He never found them again. They just went. It's the first time we've ever experienced anything like that. A lot of homes in Sunnyvale, the older homes, they had damage. Fireplaces, they were old houses, just crumbled. It was quite a shock to us.
My years at Fremont were terrific. Nothing but good. It was just great.
I know I walk down the street now in the main town of Sunnyvale, Murphy Avenue, and I will look and I'll say, oh, this store was here, and that store was here. Now it's different, you know.
Well, yeah, over the years I've seen a lot of changes in Sunnyvale, particularly when the downtown was built, you know, the mall. I think that's what we still call it. And then the destruction of it, and hopefully the rebuilding of it one of these days.
It was a wonderful little city. All orchards from Pastoria on, and across the tracks, I believe it was Maud Avenue. From then on, it was all orchards. Sunnyvale Avenue was all orchards. And then El Camino Real, this way to the high school, was all orchards. And at this time of the year, during Easter, it was absolutely lovely. For a young girl to see all these trees in bloom, it was out of this world.
People say, well, it's not a big town now either, but in my standards it is. But if you had been living here when it was a small town, you'd know what I meant. It just isn't the same.
This was a new idea of joining your police and fire department so that we'd save money. The firemen sit around a lot between fires. So it was a very, very difficult fight.
This looks like any other condominium complex, but it was once the headquarters of the Shuckles Cannery. It's an award-winning design that was once thought to be the future of commercial office buildings. And though it's gone now, we have these photos and films to remind us that it was once there. But what if something wasn't around long enough to find a place in our hearts and memories? Like the South Shore Port, local history can be lost when the whole world is changing around you. And just because no one thought it was important enough to take a picture of it, doesn't mean that it didn't exist. Clara King opened the Kingsport Plunge right next door to the South Shore Port. It was the largest saltwater pool in Santa Clara County. Opened on Memorial Day 1925, just as she promised, over 5,000 people showed up for the grand opening weekend. It's King's Sport at Kingsport. That was the slogan that year, with diving shows, a beauty contest, and of course, a concert by the Sunnyvale Brass Band. The port went bankrupt in 1927, followed by the stock market crash of '29, the Dust Bowl of the early '30s, the Great Depression, and World War II. With all of these major events, it's no wonder that no one remembers the Kingsport Plunge. The next time you look at an old photograph of the Macon arriving in Sunnyvale, look into the distance. You'll see something long forgotten. After World War II, the building was gone, but the remains of the pool were still there. Which makes this film all the more poignant. the Murphy House, brought here by sea in pieces from Maine around the Horn of South America. It was the first wooden frame home in Santa Clara County. Memories can be passed down in many different ways. One way is through photos and films. It's a great way to show our children or grandchildren the city the way we remembered it. And someday, they'll hopefully do the same. Here in Murphy Park is where our story ends. But Sunnyvale's story, as the city of destiny, continues.